There was once a man walking through an elephant camp who noticed that the elephants were only secured with a small rope tied to one of their legs. There was no chains or cages, and the rope was quite thin. And surprised that the elephants didn't just break away from the ropes and escape the camp, he asked the trainer nearby why the elephants just stood there and made no attempt to get away. The trainer replied, "When they're very young and much smaller, we use the same size rope to tie them. And at that age, it's enough to hold them. But as they grow, they are conditioned to believe they cannot break away. They believe the rope can still hold them, so they never try to break free." And the man was amazed. These massive, strong animals at any point could break free from their bonds, but because they believed they couldn't, they were stuck right where they were. The story of the elephant and the rope illustrates how limiting beliefs instilled at a young age or through repeated experiences can prevent individuals from realizing their full potential. Just like the elephants, people often accept a belief or boundary without reevaluating its validity in their current life. I couldn't imagine making $100,000 a month online, or I don't have the confidence to put myself in front of the camera and be a content creator. Or why would that big brand or company want to work with me? I don't have enough experience. These are limiting beliefs, and they're probably a big part of the reason why you aren't where you want to be in your personal or professional journey. And a limiting belief is a thought or state of mind that you believe is the absolute truth and it stops you from doing certain things. And these beliefs don't always have to be about yourself either. They could be about how you think the world works, the ideas that you have about certain things, and even how you interact with people. For example, my limiting belief was I was scared to make content because I think people will judge me and not like me. I believe that. And if I'm being honest, part of me still does, and something I'm still overcoming. But I realized there was either two options. I could either sit on the sidelines and watch everybody else live the life I want, the life of being a full-time creator and getting paid really well to do what they truly love, or I can shut down my negative beliefs and take the risk of actually putting myself out there and do it myself. Going into 2024, that's exactly what I'm doing. Going to war and destroying every limiting belief I have about myself. Because on this journey of personal development and self-improvement, I've realized the beliefs that you hold about yourself determine everything. And whenever I'm trying to improve and I still allow myself to get off track and start backsliding into bad habits, instead of just looking at it from a perspective of, oh, well, I just must not be disciplined enough to, let's say, work out enough right now. I realized there's actually an immediate change I can make within here. And that was changing the small and big limiting beliefs I have about myself to I am disciplined enough to work out consistently. And as easy as that sounds, that's actually the most challenging part of the journey because you actually have to mean it. And in order to follow through and begin living the life you desire, you actually have to follow through and live the lifestyle and do the things it's going to take to get you there. This is where most people, including myself, can struggle and often give up or fall short of reaching their goals. It's one thing to talk about and desire a better, different life for yourself, but many people aren't actually willing to remain steadfast in doing the things they need to do to achieve that life. Many people never get over the mental roadblocks and barriers society or even their close family and friends have drilled into them. And if you're watching these types of videos, I know you don't want to end up like those people. I believe that God has given you a dream or vision for your future. And if he's given you that dream and vision, he's also given you the blueprint to achieve it, whether you know it or not. But it all begins with your mindset and not falling for the traps set against you by evil principalities and high powers in dark places. Demons don't want you to win your battle against addiction. And people who are demonized will often put you down or even mock you because of your confidence or success. It exposes their own shortcomings. And ultimately, they don't want you to reach your full potential and live the life God has planned for you. And I'm not just talking financially here. Everybody thinks they want the easiest, fastest, and laziest way to make $10,000 a month. That's the magic bullet that gurus will try to sell you. But I've come to realize that most guys watching this type of content don't just want $10,000 a month, but they actually want to be the person capable of making $10,000 a month. Because if they were that person now, then they'd already be doing it. They'd probably be trying to figure out how to become the person to make $100,000 a month. But you kind of have to bring it back to yourself. Are you the type of person to make $10,000 a month? You have to think about it. Does that guy that makes that type of money, does he jump around from project to project while never actually committing to one thing? That was my problem. Do they sit around consuming other people's content for hours and hours every single day? That was my problem. Do they still regularly look at porn, giving their most valuable energy to OnlyFans Jezebels? That was my problem. And do they have a secret substance or alcohol addiction they aren't making a serious effort to kick? That was my problem. And that was the ugly truth. I wasn't reaching and hitting my goals because I wasn't the person capable of reaching them. And because I was essentially coping and thinking that I can still get away with my bad habits and still get the outcomes I desired, I found myself in this perpetual loop of failure and unfulfillment. And you start to live in that loop for some time, and eventually you identify with it and you subconsciously adopt all of the negative and limiting beliefs that comes with it. And this is where you have to really fight back of not adopting the identity of the person not capable of achieving their goals. Instead, you become he who can. Before you start worrying and obsessing about money, you have to be real with yourself. You have to build the archetype of the person you want to be, let's just say 3 months from now. And that person may or may not make $10,000 a month. I don't know. That's up to you and whatever your personal goals are. But I bet that person, regardless, has much better habits and is improving themselves little by little every single day. I bet they're turning away from the things that they know they need to turn away from, especially in those moments of temptation or desperation. And it all started with the decision they made to change the beliefs that they held about themselves 3 months prior. So as we step into 2024, I believe that God is inviting you to something greater. Don't let April roll around and you're still in the same spot you're in now. Take radical, actionable inputs that directly result to the outcomes you desire. And I'll be doing the same, documenting and making videos about everything that I learn and find interesting along the way. And I'm ready to make 2024 the year I really take my life serious and become the man God wants me to be. And this channel will serve as the ultimate form of accountability, as I'm looking to build a community of other like-minded people to hopefully inspire and help each other along the way. And if this sounds like something you're ready to be a part of, you should subscribe to this channel and get ready for something special.